I'm Dr. Neha Jain, Program Coordinator, and
Charger.
it's my privilege to extend a warm welcome to each of you on behalf of Research Foundation of India. Today marks the first day of our faculty development and training program designed to provide a structured approach to research paper writing. In this session, we will delve into two fundamental aspects of academic research: population, problem identification and formulation, as well as the art of crafting a comprehensive review of literature. This STEAM initiative is a collaborative effort by the Synergy Research Foundation of India and RFI-CARE in association with Parul University, Gujarat. It is further supported by institutions such as Shod Malwa, Eklavya University, JHRF, ARGA, and Edu Academic Inc. Before we proceed, allow me to highlight the commendable work of the Research Foundation of India. Dedicated to advancing education and research, RFI actively promotes Indian scholarship through a variety of academic events, including international and national conferences, seminars, workshops, and symposia. RFI serves as a global platform for the exchange of intellectual ideas, fostering innovation and scholarly inquiry. The foundation also spearheads research and development initiatives in higher education, forging strategic partnerships through Memorandum of Understanding with leading universities across India. With over 87 chapters in India and 18 chapters worldwide, RFI operates across five regional boards: West, East, South, North, and Central. Notably, RFI remains independent of governmental sponsorship, ensuring autonomy and integrity in its mission. To date, it has successfully organized over 1,000 international conferences, workshops, FDPs, and symposia. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker for the session, Dr. Ankita Jain, Madam, the Coordinator of Foreign Affairs at the Research Foundation of India. Welcome, ma'am. Madam's academic journey is marked by excellence and dedication. She began her teaching career at Sri Vaishnav Institute of Management and Research in Indore, where she served as an assistant professor in the Department of Management. Prior to this, she contributed her expertise at Prestige Institute of Management and Research in Indore. With over 7 years of teaching experience, she holds a PhD from Prestige Institute of Management and Research in Indore. Her academic expertise spans multiple disciplines, including human resource management, entrepreneurship, organizational development, and leadership skills. She furthered on her skills through a prestigious 5-week faculty development program at the Indian Institute of Management in Indore. Her commitment to research and innovation is exemplified by her patent publication, which highlights her innovative contributions to digital entrepreneurship. Beyond academia, she has made significant contributions as a keynote speaker, researcher, and active participant in national and international conferences. She has also played a vital role in the institutional committees, enriching various academic and administrative domains. Her passion for education extends beyond research and teaching. She actively engages in cultural events, motivational speaking, career counseling, and life coaching, inspiring students to strive for excellence. Moreover, she has pursued numerous professional certifications in training and development, digital marketing, and more, reflecting her continuous quest for knowledge and growth. So that's all about Madam expertise. Now, without taking much time, I request Dr. Ankita ma'am to please begin her presentation. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am. Ms. Ankita ma'am, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Please start.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you so much, Neha ma'am and team RFI for providing this opportunity and the platform for wonderful FDP program. I have seen various topics in this particular FDP which is covered. So in this FDP come training development program in a systematic way of research paper writing, we are going to discuss various topics. Specifically, today we are going to discuss about the problem identification and formulation and art of writing a review of literature. Apart from that, tomorrow we'll be talking about the understanding ethical issues and plagiarism, then hypothesis development and testing, also application of SPSS for data analysis, and the last we are going to have the compilation on and the references for the bibliography. So ultimately, there are so many sessions which we are going to have. Also, this particular FDP is associated with various like there are so many people who are associated with it, and also other bodies are associated, and they are having so many sessions still, like since number of years, and the legacy is still going on. These sessions always been very much helpful for the scholars and the faculties for the purpose of writing a research paper, or for the scholars specifically for doing a research, and specifically for their thesis work. So today again, I'm here with like a lecture on art of writing review of literature, also identification of the problem. So, as you all know, that we have, whenever we are planning to have a lecture, have a research paper, or planning for any kind of research, so what comes in our mind, that there is something which is bothering us, or we want to know about. There is something which we have in our mind, which we want to search on, and that is why we do this particular research. That might be a research paper, or that might be any of the excuse me, that might be your thesis, or any of the article which you are planning to write. So the research problems comes in our mind. So when we talk about any research problem, so specifically it is talking about any particular gap which is not there. So today, with that particular note, I'll be going to start my session. So let me share my slides with you all. I hope my slides are visible to everyone, and I am like audible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, as I have told you, the title is Problem Identification and Formulation and the Art of Writing Review of Literature. So, I am going to take the session in two parts. So, the first part is talking about the research problem. So, basically, a research problem is a specific and a clear issue, something which is there is a gap in the knowledge, or a contradiction in the existing theory, or a focused issue which is there, that a researcher aims to address through their investigation, through their research. So basically, it forms the foundation of any of the research project, and it guides the entire research process. So, what is a research problem? If we talk about, so it can be a question that needs to be answered. It can be a concept the researcher wants to understand. It can be a crisis that needs to be resolved. It can be a situation that needs to be changed. Also, it can be a reason of dissatisfaction. So, it the research question, the research problem can be anything which needs a solution, which needs an answer. There can be something which you already having in your mind, but you are not able to find out what exactly should be the solution of it. There can be something which you are having in your mind and you are not satisfied with, and you want something, a suggestion or any solution by your own. So you can be dissatisfied with that, and you want the solution for something. Then identification of the research problem we talk about. So how to identify the research problem, if we see, so first you have to do the review of literature. I am coming to that point as well, where how we have to do the review of literature. So first we have to do the review of literature. Then after identification of problem, then we have to specify the research purpose. Then we have to collect the data, we have to analyze and interpret the data, and finally we have to evaluate. So let me tell you first of all that there is a sequence of writing a research paper that includes, first we see the abstract of any of the paper, but that's the last steps comes once we are done with the paper or we are on a working paper. So the first thing comes in a mind is introduction, then comes review of literature, then the research gap which comes just after the review of literature. Then next one is the research methodology, which includes your research design, research methodology, sampling, sample size, sample type, sample design. Then tools for data collections, tools for data analysis, and also that includes various things which needs to be taken care of while you are following any methodology for writing a paper. So, research methodology, after that, data analysis and interpretation. The next steps comes is finding and discussion, and the last one is conclusion. So, we have seen the step by step writing the review of the research paper. In this, in all these steps, if we talk about the most important is the review of literature, which helps you to understand what has been done earlier and what needs to be done. So what is the gap between what is there and what is not there? So what is not there, what is not done till now, that is a research gap. And that research gap creates so many things or refine a research question, research problem which we have in our mind. And after the research questions only or research problem only, and identifying the gap, we can decide upon our final objectives. And after identifying the object, we will be able to create the hypothesis or form the hypothesis. So, whenever we want to identify any of the research problem, we have to go through various steps. Now, basically, a research problem is a definite and a clear expression about an area of concern. Basically, any condition which needs to be improved, and it can be any difficulty which needs to be eliminated, or a troubling question which you are having in your mind while you are doing in literature. So, basically, in the existing practice, if you are doing something that points need to be answered or that needs to be answered in a meaningful way to understand and deliberate the action. So this is all about the research problem. If we talk about any, like how to select how to select a research problem, so how we can do that? So let's see. Selection of a research problem. First one, you have to see, is the research problem relevant and important, whether it is associated with your problems or the things which you are having in your mind. Does the subject area suits to his interest? Basically, you have to see where you are having what you are having in your mind in the beginning. You must be having some idea about it. Then you have to see whether the subject area suits to your interest. Still, it is like relevant. What you were thinking in your mind, what you were having in your mind about the subject, about the things to do, you were having in your mind from the very beginning. So still, is that area or the subject area still suits to your interest or not? Then does it contain any originality or creativeness? This is one of the major thing which you have to understand nowadays. There is an issue regarding what? Regarding the plagiarism. So if we talk about the plagiarism issue, so what you have to understand is that your title, your subject area, your interest area, or whatever you are planning to research on should be original. It should not be plagiarized. It should have some creativity. It should be new topic. It should be an innovative idea which you are planning to study. So whenever you are selecting any Now, we talk about the characteristics of a good review of literature. Then we see a good literature review must be comprehensive first. Then it should include up to date references. It should be systematic. It should be free from the biases. It should be well written. It should be in the form of sum of its parts. Also, it should be clearly searched and selected. Then, accurate references should be given in the review. Now, let me come to these points. If we talk about the literature review, it should have a detailed information about something, but depending on what you're writing a research paper or research proposal or any synopsis or anything like thesis or any notes or any particular class assignment. So that depends, and you have to decide upon review of literature that it can be comprehensive enough. It should include up to date references, means all the literatures from the beginning till today should be included. Obviously, it may be possible that very recent papers will not be uh, included, or should have recent literature should be named in the last, maybe, and you forgot that. In that case, what happens? You have to see that whether those references are up to date or not. Also, the references citation should be given in the last to get the proper answer. Then, if we talk about the, it should be free from the biases. That you should not have something in your mind before you go to the next step and to understand the review of literature. Then, accurate reference should be given in the review. Means all the in-text citations should be entertained. The people should understand why it is important, basically to ignore the plagiarism. So you should not select the idea. If you're having some idea, just put it on the WhatsApp. You'll see how many topics are there already on the existing literature, and you can change the new one. Now let's talk about the purpose of the review of literature. So basically, it helps to identify what is already known and what is not known. In the what we will be doing is to understand this, that if it is known to everyone, okay, but there are some people and researchers are discussing that this is not available, but what can be done? We have to do some research. So if it is which is already known about research problem, it helps to understand that review of literature specifically, and it helps to build on previous knowledge. It enhances your knowledge on that particular title which was previously done. Many published research studies contain recommendations for the future research from which we can get the idea for the new research study. About this, I would like to say one thing, that yes, sometimes even I don't read my research paper which is already there, because so many people, other peoples are messaging me for the purpose of understanding that how it can be done, what is the right way. Students are approaching that how it can be done. There is no specific way, but yes, you can do it by or understand it by, like, whenever you are doing a literature review, let me tell you, simply download some of the papers and start reading those, and you will get to understand how they have written their review of literature. And out of those review of literature, you will see that there is a gap they have written, and out of that gap, how they have made the research question, and accordingly they have defined the research objectives, and that objective only led to the writing the hypothesis and analysis for the paper. So Basically, it is necessary to narrow the problem to be studied. There can be so many things, but obviously we cannot study everything. What we want to study, we have to understand and start working on. How to write a review of literature. If we talk about this, how to write, so there can be two different ways. One is chronological order, another one is number one is chronological, another one is thematic. So number in the first one, in the chronological one, it is talking about the time. So it can be in the ascending order or it can be in the descending orders. Means you can write down your literature reviews chronologically from latest to the oldest, or oldest to the oldest to the newest. It can be like something like you can put it like in a theme way, with based on the themes. Like it can be like studies related to quantitative study and qualitative study. It can be related to cities or any particular area, or it can be in the perspective of national, international, global level perspectives. It can be divided on the basis of decades as well, like from the 2001 to 2010, 2011 to 2014. Also, that can be from uh, like any of the decades you can choose, any other time frame you can choose. You can divide it in two parts, 90s and 20s or something like this. Whatever you feel like, you can do it. Also, different themes can follow the chronological order. Then we talk about the structure of a literature review. So it every literature should include the introduction, what methods that particular researcher has followed, what is the body means, what they have done, what methods they were doing, and then is what they have done in the discussion we have to write, and what was the conclusion of this paper. So everything from the beginning till the end should be concise in one paragraph or two paragraphs to understand whether it has been answered your questions or not. Then reference. Every step, everything is talking about the referencing. So that's another session which we are going to have about it. But yes, this is very much important to understand whether how it can be done and how it can be managed. Like writing the literature review and making the references, creating the references, and writing it in a proper way. So basically, these are the steps which you have to follow. You have to write the introduction, you have to set the context, then you have to provide the information about the field of the study. Also, you have to focus on the review of literature. Then, if we talk about the methods, a chronological model, sorry, it helps readers basically to understand the approach and describe the criteria which used to select the sources. If we talk about the body, in the chronological order, it can have various paragraphs, different paragraphs or different time frames can be studied. A thematic model can be followed based on subtopics. Then discussion and conclusion. So in the discussion, you have to summarize, and conclusion, you have to summarize basically the main contribution of the studies. You have to raise and discuss the question about the topic of the field, and it should clearly mention. Am I audible? Can somebody please confirm?
Yes,
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 yeah.
ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah.
Yes,
If we
ma'am, audible.
talking about the this, yeah, thank you so much. If we talk about discussion and conclusions, we have to summarize the main contribution of various studies which has been done already in this area. You have to raise and discuss the question about the particular topic and the field. Also, you have to clearly mention the gaps which are there in the research. So if there is any, so then you have to also write the possible, or you have to see the possible suggestions which have been given in that particular study for the further research. So I'll be talking about this point now. See, whenever you are looking at any of the study and they are looking at writing the gaps. So whenever you are even doing a research, You are not a god, so you cannot do everything in a single paper. Sometimes we try to find out number of things in a single paper, but what I suggest, that you should also you should take only one or two objective, and you should go as much as deep you can go, and you can talk about, or you can discuss about, or you can write about it. So basic subject, basic topics can be included, but yes, you have to understand this thing, that those things are very much important. That whenever you are writing a paper, you will see that there's something missing which you can do. Like this, in your paper also, once you are writing a conclusion, after conclusion there are four more things which are there. One is limitations of the study, another one is suggestion and recommendations of the study, next one is limitations of the study, and the implication of the study. Implication to the various stakeholders can be the employer, employee, any person, any particular body which is included. So this can be seen. And the last one important thing which is there, that is future research scopes. Conclusion has its own extended parts, which has number one, which is limitations of the study. Then second one is suggestions and recommendation. Third one, which we are talking about, that is implications of the study. And the last one comes as future research scope. So whenever you are lacking behind somewhere, you are not able to complete your something, you can write it in the future research scope, that this also can be investigated or can be done by any of the researcher further in their own studies. So whenever you are reading a paper, what you can do, in the last, you can see that every paper has a further research scope or future research scope. On the basis of that, also, you can take idea on reframing your research problem. And the last one comes as reference list. So whenever we are doing all this, you have to prepare our reference list, which includes all the citations or the authors which you have mentioned in your study. Proper numbering and the footnote should be given to that. And the last one comes is that every important detail of all the social you are referring, you should mention the references. If we talk about steps in writing the review of literature, so first you have to select the topic, then you have to search the literature. Once the literature is select, like obviously, you have to find out that what is your interest area basically. So once you are done, or you are roughly done with your topic, you have to start searching your literature. Then you have to develop the arguments, that what can be done, and then surveying the literature. Also, you have to critique the literature so that you can identify the exact research gap, and that should not mislead you. Then finally, writing the review. Concluding the review of literature. Number one, you have to summarize the ideas, you have to summarize the conflicts, and also you have to summarize the themes and the historical periods. As I have already told you, that people are doing different types of themes, thematic review of literature. Then relate or contextualize your thesis with the work reported in the literature. So basically, what happens, that whenever you are doing or conceptualizing your thesis or in research work, so that should be there in the literature. Then point out the gap in the scholarship, or so how your research helps or fill the gap. So you have to conclude the literature in that way. Then if we talk about the transition, that literature review should be connected with the next chapter, means it should include the pace that it can connect it with the next chapter. So obviously it happens in general that whenever you're deciding on research gaps, so you have to find out the objective as well. So that comes in the next chapter, so it gives the idea on how it can be done. Now there are so many things people ask about the length of the literature review. So first of all, as such, there is no specific pages about the review of literature. Still you think that how and what page number should be there, how many pages should be there. So I'm just giving you a tentative idea, but I'm not saying that it is fixed, because every research is unique, and you know it better in a better way, that how much data you want to include, which kind of data you can include. So first, as a part of PhD thesis or MSc thesis, the literature review will be comprehensive, and it should cover all the important topics. Then, as a proposal, if we talk about, it also covers, it should be comprehensive, but it should cover all the aspect related to the research and reasonably comprehensive. Means PhD, MSc dissertations, they are having a vast discussion over it. But if we talk about the proposal of the project, it should be reasonably comprehensive. If there is something which is not important at all, it you can make you can include some things, but it should not be very much less. As a part of a research paper or research report, a literature review covers the major work, which also work which also done, major work that has been done on the topic recently, but also does not try to identify all the research on the subject. Obviously you cannot cover each and everything, but at least you can cover the major parts which has been done on that particular study. The subject research. So basically, you have to decide. You are writing a thesis or dissertation, you are writing a proposal or a project synopsis, you are writing a research report or a paper, it can be done. Until unless there is no page limit, page foundation, so you should decide it by yourself that you should not write anything whichever you like, but you should also think what can be done in this particular thing, that particular research which you are having. If we talk about some points to remember whenever we are writing a review of literature, so first, the review literature must be written in a formal way, in an academic style. It should keep writing clear and concisely that that whenever you are writing it, it should include each and everything very properly. You should not use personal language, WhatsApp language. You should use proper words. Also, it always aim to be the like objective and respectful to the other's opinion. This is not the place for any emotional or emotive languages, which has strong Then you can also use inclusion and exclusion criteria, deciding on the based of sources which are relevant for your study. Also, you can conduct a thorough research using different databases and resources to find out the relevant literature. Then you can evaluate your sources by assessing different credibility. You can do it on the basis of methodology and the relevance, how much relevant it is. Then last one is synthesis and analysis of the sources and databases. Also, there is about the gaps in the literature. Also, there is one thing I would like to focus on, that whenever you are doing all this literature review thing, you should outline and write your literature review properly in a proper structured way, which looks logical and also connected with your present study. Also, it should be there in a clear and concise manner. Then there is one more thing I would like to discuss about the review of literature, that you should avoid the plagiarism. Whenever you are writing the review of literature, all the times you should avoid plagiarism, plagiarizing your sources. You should totally avoid that you are copying somebody else's data, taking somebody else's work without taking their names, without putting their names in the reference, or you are not putting their names in the citation, in text citations. So always try to do that. Always separate your source opinion from their hypothesis, and make sure you are consistently reference the literature you are referring to. When you are doing your research and reading it, you can make the notes. You can use different colors or themes or different pages to write, or different it is just all about, I'm talking about the arranging the review of literature, whatever type of
How
study
about
it is.
thematic, ma'am?
Sorry.
How about thematic arrangement, ma'am?
Ma'am, as I have
Thematic.
suggested, like if you want, you can write down your literatures on the basis of different perspectives. For example, national perspective, Indian perspective, then international perspective, global perspective. Like this, you can do. You can also write on the basis of different theme, like decades, like from 1980s to 1990s, then 1990s to 2000, then 2000 to 2010, then 2010 to 2020. So it's all up to you, how do you want to arrange it. So that is the theme based.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, there can be different other themes as well, where you can do on the basis of different purpose, the structure of your study. You can do it on the basis of relevance. Any type, any of the way you can choose.
Since I am very new to research, I have a question. After mentioning the materials and methods, we will be explaining all those results in result part itself. Then what could
Ma'am,
be
actually
mentioned?
your voice is not clear to me. Can you come again?
Could you hear me now?
Sorry.
Uh, could you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it is not clear. Like voice is not clear. Can you please speak again?
Yes, ma'am. Uh, Now you can hear, right?
Yes, yes.
Since I am very new to research, I have after mentioning the materials methods, and we'll be discussing everything in the results part itself. Then what could be exactly mentioned in the discussion part? What is the difference between the discussion and the conclusion part?
Discussion and conclusion.
What should be exactly mentioned in the discussion part and conclusion part of a
See,
study?
first of all, I'm just giving you some basic things to understand about. See, you should ask me that what is the difference between review of literature and discussion, first of all. So, what review of literature we are following here? We are also using the review of literature in the discussion also. But in the discussion part, whenever we are using the review of literature, what we are writing is we are comparing it the previous studies what has been done. Okay, but now you have asked me the question about the discussion and the conclusion. So there are two things. One is, in the discussion what happens, you compare the previous studies, what has been done and what your study is talking about. So you compare both type of studies. Maybe your study is supporting to something, and that previous study related to your study, or it is similar to your study, may not be supporting or may not be going in the same way. It might be giving you some contradictory or different answer to that. Okay, but now let's talk about discussion and conclusion. So not discussion conclusion, I'm talking about there are three chapters which we can say after research methodology. One is data analysis and interpretation, then findings and discussion, then the last one is conclusion. So in the we talk about the results and interpretation, the tables comes as the result and we write the interpretation, that's it. In the finding and discussion, we try to write, now I'm telling you the difference, you just listen to this, that whenever we whatever the results are coming, on the basis of that we are writing the discussion and the finding. So findings and discussion chapter should be written hypothesis wise, means what hypothesis you were there and were those accepted or rejected and why and how it happened. Okay, so we are going to discuss and we have to got the findings in this particular chapter. But when it comes to the conclusion, it is similar to the discussion and the findings, but you should write your conclusion objective wise, that objective one was this, and whether it has been like achieved its objective or not, this objective has been accepted or achieved or not. So the expected and the expected result and the actual results are compared in the conclusion. So finding and discussion chapter is written should be written hypothesis wise, but when it comes to the conclusion, it is talking about your objective wise conclusion, means whether it is done or not, accepted or not, whether it has been achieved or not. So this is how it conclusion should be written. So is this clear to you, Deepika ma'am?
Yeah, ma'am. Fine, fine. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Any other questions?
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I want to ask that how do we decide our title for research after the review of literature?
See, I would say that you must be having something. As I have started, that you might be having something in your mind that you want to study this. Okay, but that might be possible that it has been done earlier. So you can start searching literature as much as you can search. So you will see whether it has been done earlier or not. If not, then maybe the similar type of studies has been done. So whenever you are reading more and more, it will be refining your idea of understanding or deciding upon your topic. When you'll start reading it, you will get the idea. So as many as literature you are going to read, it is going to give you more insights and clear idea about what research problem should be there, and it is going to refine your title as well.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Any other question?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
As I have already asked, what should be mentioned in the recommendation or suggestion part comparative to the implications? Like, what is the exact thing which has to be written in the implications part and recommendations and or
Sorry,
suggestions?
sorry, can you come again? Can you come again?
Uh, what can be written in the implications part and recommendations or suggestion part of a paper?
See, suggestions and recommendations are basically the one on the basis of your study, on the basis of your results, what you want to suggest. Okay, those are suggestions. And what are the implication for different stakeholders? For example, if you are doing any study on the banks, so it can be that you can give some like how their study is going to be helpful for those people. So implications are how your study is going to contribute or helpful to the society, to the researchers, to the bank or bankers, means for the employees and the employers, anybody. So this is all about implications and the suggestions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other question?
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I want to ask about that if we are reading a particular research paper, so introduction and literature review that a particular research paper we are need to read and note, because if we are reading abstract conclusion limitations, so that is enough for literature review or not?
See, first you should see the whole thing, but abstract is talking about whatever they have done. That is the summary of that. But yes, you should rules not. I'm not talking about the introduction. You should read. That's not important. But you should at least read their conclusion specifically, and you can see other things like what methodologies they have followed, what kind of work they have done, so that you can also see in the abstract. If not, the abstract is not clear, so you can check out their research methodology part, what objectives they have taken, what hypotheses were there, what tests they have applied, which kind of results came out, so what is the conclusion, you can check out.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have already read some research paper, near about 100 plus research paper I have read related to my subject, because I'm a PhD
Hmm.
scholar. But at the
Okay.
end, we can't be able to remember all the types of the research paper, what the types of the matter
you
included
should
in
use
the.
the you should use this Excel sheet or Google sheet for the same, where you can write down the some key points. You have to make some notes for the same.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Uh,
Any other question?
Hello, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a doubt. I don't know. Maybe.
Tell
Hello.
me.
I'm audible, ma'am.
Yes, please tell me.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, I have a doubt. I have a doubt that see sometimes when we do research, so we will be some or the other ways biased with in that particular topic, right? So if we take the examples of like Kashmiri Pandits issues, or if I take the topic of Kashmiri Pandits, I mean whatever the issues or problems they are facing or they face or whatever it happened with them. So how to come out of such biasness? I mean, being a Kashmiri Pandit, if I do research on them or on those issues of those people, then how to come out of that biasness, especially with regard to the research in this field? Can you give me some suggestions so that it could help me?
Sir, I would like to say that if you are saying that, so you have the answer in your question itself, first of all.
Okay.
Means simply, you know that you are doing the like having the biasness. So you should avoid it.
Yes,
Simple.
ma'am.
Because
Yes, ma'am.
whenever we are doing something, so we know that we are doing right or wrong. So like this, we know that we are doing something like some we are doing favor to something or not. So like this, you already know that you are being biased about something. So that is your weakness, that you are being biased for something, so you should avoid it. That's it. Like there is no way out of doing it. When you know it, then you should avoid it, and you should find out the another way for doing that.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your suggestions. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, tell me.
We will be like reviewing many literature reviews through ResearchGate, Google Scholar, or something else, the sources. We have an opportunity to present a paper in a conference, not the original research study, but can be presented as review papers, right? In that way. So, different researchers have given a different materials and methods and the results and all. So by seeing all those things, how can we conclude into a single paper which I can be presented? Like I don't have an idea regarding that, but we belongs to healthcare department and we have that opportunity as well. But I don't know how to conclude, for example, 10 research papers into a single paper as what they have told in each and everything.
See, basically, as I have suggested to another person in this workshop, what you have to do, you should also examine each and everything in other papers. If you are referring various review of literatures or the paper, so you should make some notes from your side, and you should stick to your title, and you should decide upon what exactly you want to consider. What is that paper relevant to your study or not? So one by one you should take the papers and you should make the notes. Then whatever the papers are good and relevant to your study, you should keep it in a folder. Then you can go and you can check one by one, and you can include those in your research paper in the part of review of literature. And then you can decide that which methodologies they have followed. One by one, when you start doing it, you will get to understand that what people have followed, what they have done in their study, and what you can do in your study. So that can be easily, whenever you will start doing it. See, sometimes it happens when we are afraid of doing something, but when we start doing it, we will start learning. It was so easy to do. So when you start reading various papers, you will already start getting the answers to your question which you are asking me right now. So you have to read as many as papers you do, and you can read. And also one thing you have to do is that is you should make the notes of the thing.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. How to find the research gap, like you told, right? What are the things we should
Again,
consider to find
again,
the research gap?
see, simple, as I have already given you an example, that you want to go for shopping, but you should know that why you are going for shopping. It can be a window shopping, that is a different thing. Otherwise, if you want, you can see that there is something missing in your wardrobe, then only you are going for a shopping. So wherever you are like arranging your almirah, you will see that this is not, I'm not finding, these things are not with me. I want these more, like I want some more tops, I want some more kurtas, or I want some formal wears, I want some like this or that. You will see. So when you start arranging it, you will get the answers, that what is not there, what is not, you are not finding, right? But you have to do for that.
Yeah, fine, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah.
is there any special meaning regarding this dissertation, thesis, and research study? When you come to PhD, they will say like research study. When MSc, they'll say like thesis or dissertation. Like, is there any specific explanation for all these terminologies?
Oh, sorry, I could not understand your question.
Uh, when comes when we come to PG, it can be called as dissertation or thesis, which we'll be carrying out in the final year.
Hmm.
But when you go
Hmm.
for PG, they'll say like research study. Is there any specifications on these terminologies? What is the exact meaning of
See,
dissertation or thesis?
it's nothing like that. Some people call it dissertation, even in some PGs they call it thesis. So it has a similar meaning, but it has a different criteria with number of pages or something. But those are nothing like that. Like some theses are done at the scholars, thesis is also done at the doctorate level, also done at the PG level. So nothing like that. You don't need to go for terminologies, you just focus on your research.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Any other question? Neha ma'am? Mm. Okay, thank you so much. So tomorrow again we are having a session uh, uh, for the next thing in this particular FDP. So you can join and you can also get the better insights on different things. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.